Good morning, you brave spiritual warriors. I hope everybody's doing well and that you're feeling powerful as you are, as a cosmic being of light, sharing your positive energy with everybody. Today, again, thus spoke Zarathustra. We ain't done with this yet. We're going to be talking about reading and writing. Of all that is written, I love only what a person hath written with his blood. Write with blood, and thou wilt find that blood is spirit. It is no easy task to understand unfamiliar blood. I hate the reading idlers. He who knoweth the reader doth nothing more for the reader. Another century of readers, and spirit itself will stink. Everyone being allowed to learn to read, ruin in the long run not only writing but also thinking. Once spirit was God, then it became man, and now it even becomes the mob. He that writes in blood and proverbs does not want to be read, but learned by heart. In the mountains, the shortest route is from peak to peak, but for that you must have long legs. Aphorisms should be peaks, and those to whom they are spoken should be big and tall of stature. The air is thin and pure, danger near, and the spirit full of a joyful wickedness. These things suit one another. I want hobgoblins around me, for I am courageous. Courage that scares away phantoms makes hobgoblins for itself. Courage wants to laugh. I no longer feel as you do. This cloud which I see under me, this blackness and heaviness at which I laugh. Precisely, this is your thundercloud. You look up when you desire to be exalted, and I look down because I am exalted. Who among you can at the same time laugh and be exalted? He who climbs upon the highest mountains laughs at all tragedies, real or imaginary. Undoubt, untroubled, scornful, outrageous. That is how wisdom wants us to be. She is a woman, and never loves anyone but a warrior. Life is hard. You tell me, life is hard to bear, but if it were otherwise, why would you have your pride in the morning and your resignation in the evening? Life is hard to bear, but do not pretend to be so tender. We are all of us pretty fine asses, and asses of burden. What have we in common with the rosebud, which trembles because a drop of dew is lying upon it? It is true, we love life, not because we are used to living, but because we are used to loving. There is always a certain madness in love, but also there is always a certain method in madness. And to me too, who loves life, it seems that butterflies and soap bubbles and whatever is like among men know most about happiness. To see these light, foolish, dainty, affecting little souls flutter about, that moves Zarathustra to tears and to song. I should believe only in a God who understands how to dance. And when I beheld my devil, I found him serious, thorough, profound, solemn. It was the spirit of gravity. Through him all things are ruined. One does not kill by anger, but by laughter. Come, let us kill the spirit of gravity. I have learned to walk. Since then I have run. I have learned to fly. Since then I do not have to be pushed in order to move. Now I am nimble. Now I fly. Now I see myself under myself. Now a God dances within me. Thus spoke Zarathustra. Well, quite damn powerful if you ask me. A lot of powerful stuff in there. Definitely an interesting connection of thoughts, if you will. I'll start at the beginning and then move on from there. Let me just get back to where I was here. So at the beginning, he talks about writing, to write with your blood, to write with your spirit. And this is, and the quote that I underlined here is, let me scroll up to it for you. Where is it? It is right here. He who writes in blood and aphorisms does not want to be read. He wants to be learned by heart. See, this is something I feel like that's lacking in a lot of other philosophical texts, albeit they have their purpose, they have their reasons, and they have their usefulness. Well, I mean, Nietzsche would disagree, but to write so blandly, so methodical, so mathematical, that to me kills the great power of writing. It should be not only an expression of profound, maybe philosophies, but it should have color. It should have life to itself. I want to feel what the author is feeling, and he does it as one of the best. And so that's what he's really saying. Well, I mean, not that wasn't deep or anything, but that's what he's saying about the writing with blood, with your spirit, to put forth, and maybe it's an analogy for everything in life, is not just to go about it in some non-autonomous way, some automatic way, kind of just the dull, boring, automated, you kind of turn off your human power in that way. Whereas maybe what he's suggesting with, living with your blood as hot as it can be, is passionate and not explosive in a bad way, but explosive in the sense of just sparking emotion, and sparking energy, Wouldn't that make life more fun? Or is that just me being dramatic? Who knows? And then he goes on to discuss the harshness of life. He is no stranger to harshness and to struggle, for sure. He went through quite a lot in his life. This powerful man whom I love to read. And he talks about being on top of a... Oh, 1 second. Sorry about that. He talks about being on top of mountains, and how once you overcome, that's obviously a metaphor for overcoming tragedy, right? Is when you look up a mountain, it's a hard thing to do. Not just tragedy, but overcoming maybe even yourself, what you deem impossible. I can't climb to the top of this mountain, or I can't do this or that. There's no way, or whatever reason and excuse you give yourself not to do something or to overcome something about yourself. And you're down there at the bottom of the mountain, and you look up and there's thunderclouds. But the thunderclouds are only, 3/4 the way up the mountain. But once you pass all of that, once you overcome so much of yourself, eventually you get to the peak of the mountain, and you're sitting on top, and you are exalted. You understand, you feel the true power of being. And, you look down, then you look down at the thunderclouds, which is what he's saying, because they're beneath you now. You understand yourself. What's his, him and Carl Jung's famous quote, I think, is, become who you are. And it's something that is, I don't want to say misunderstood, because, it is to some degree, but it's not vastly misunderstood. Become who you are is just saying to go inside. The true God is inside, and it's you. And to go inside and reflect and sit in solitude sometimes and learn about yourself and overcome yourself, and that's how you climb your mountain. Wisdom wants us to be, untroubled, scornful, outrageous. That is how wisdom wants us to be. She is a woman and never loves anyone but a warrior. So, that's akin to the same thing, my previous statement, what I said, that you have to overcome yourself, that yes, life is hard to bear, but wisdom comes with being a warrior, one who is constantly fighting and growing and learning, and that's wisdom. Life is hard to bear, but if it were otherwise, why should you have your pride in the morning and your resignation in the evening? So that's something too that, again, life, there's suffering in life, there's tragedy in life, but you have such a powerful ability to create whatever meaning you want to out of things you enjoy doing, that you overcome that. He is often misunderstood, especially by edgy teenagers, as being like the nihilistic, the progenitor of nihilism, and that's all he teaches, and that's quite the opposite. I mean, obviously, I don't expect many teenagers to understand him fully, but he did kind of create nihilism in a sense. I mean, there was cynics in the past, Diogenes, in the Greeks, who lived in a fucking barrel. That guy's a legend, I tell you. That guy, you should have seen him in his party days. Anyways, But you see, I do that shit and then I lose my point. We're talking about life is hard. Oh yeah, so right. So he was the progenitor in some sense of nihilism, but he didn't do it to like despair with people. He did it and then he provided the answer to it. It was almost like a freedom. Like, yeah, sure, once, we all realize that God is dead, the first realization is that. The second realization is, oh, what are we going to do? That's like the nihilism. There's no God. But then the third realization is, oh, wait, the God is us. We are God. We create what we want to create. And that's so much more profound. But life is hard to bear. Yes, it is. But if it wasn't, then would it be worth living, is what he's saying. And that's very true. Isn't it nice? I like that life is hard to bear. Why would I want something to be easy? If I could take a pill and do what, and it would allow me to do whatever I wanted to do, and it made it easy, then it would be worthless, because there was no struggle. There was no me overcoming myself. Some people would gladly take that because, maybe their ego loves attention and pride and would love to just, even if it was the easiest thing in the world for them to do, to stand on top of something, whether it's, bodybuilding, powerlifting, swimming, whatever they like to do. But I feel like that's a self-betrayal, self-sabotage, type of thinking. Because then it's like, what it's really showing and telling of why they're actually doing what they're doing, right? Because if you can just be on top without any work, then there's no real reward for yourself. So I found that to be pretty powerful. Do not pretend to be so tender. That's very true too. We're powerful beings. We are infinitely powerful beings with this amazing thing called human consciousness and autonomy. We can change so much about ourselves and so much about the people around us that we have no idea. Or at least not a lot of people reconcile with that fact and just think, oh my God, we're just these, a clump of atoms floating in space ruled by our instincts and DNA. We have no free will and all of this fucking doomsday bullshit. And you know what? They're free to believe whatever the fuck they want to believe. Have fun with that. But really, to pretend that we're so tender and we're not strong is another self-betrayal of the human condition. And then probably my favorite section of the whole book, but also obviously is in this section is at the bottom here. Let me scroll and I will show you. So the bottom here it says, and to me too. So let me actually scroll up here. There we go. I apologize if I didn't highlight every quote that I was reading, but I hope you guys were able to follow along so far. So here, let's start here. And to me too, who love life, it seems that butterflies and soap bubbles and whatever is like them among men know most about happiness. To see these light, foolish, dainty, affecting little souls flutter about, that moves Zarathustra to tears and to song. I should believe only in a God who understood how to dance. And when I beheld my devil, I found him serious, thorough, profound, solemn. It was the spirit of gravity. Through him all things are ruined. One does not kill by anger, but by laughter. Come, let us kill the spirit of gravity. And then it continues a little bit, but I feel like I need to stop there. That's something that I definitely resonates with me. The spirit of gravity is the devil. The seriousness of life. Those people that take life so seriously, that can't laugh, that look to children with envy and with malice, and they say the famous thing, when children are just living and having fun and doing their thing and living in the moment and being so fucking happy because they're zen. And the adults that look at them and go, oh, ha ha ha, wait till they grow up, like wait till they see the real world. That's almost like another self-betrayal. They are projecting the fact that they themselves hate life and what life has become for them, not realizing that they can control it. They can change it at any point in time. They just need to reflect and go inward. Speak to the God within, which is your right brain, your unconscious. Speak to it and let it tell you and guide you which way you are to go. And so this spirit of gravity, this heaviness, this thing that weighs things down, it's a burden. It's so serious. It's so not enjoyable. These people, they don't laugh. There's no laughter with them. There's or if there is, it's with ill intent maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think, because that was pretty profound. That resonates with me so much, because I've always been one to don't take life so seriously. Like, yes, it's powerful and you can do all these crazy things and you can change it to whatever you want it to be. But it's also not a serious thing. I know those two things may sound contradictory, but I believe that they're not. I don't believe that the first statement I made is one of seriousness, but I believe it's a statement made by passion, that life is powerful, and that you have, like everyone on this planet, has the ability to change it to whatever we want to be and live the happiest life that we want to live. But look at the words he uses: serious, thorough. Or thorough, that's another one. Very over analytical maybe. And again, that can be useful to some degree, but to be in the left hemisphere of the brain is one that is not an area that we should be in all the time. It's an overthinking part of our brain that's way too hypercritical of ourselves, and that maybe one issue with depression is too much of the left brain activity and not returning to the flow, the childlike behavior of the right brain, and the unconscious, subconscious behavior. That's also alluding to, if you watched a previous video, I think we talked about the metamorphosis, the transition from a camel to a lion to a child, where the child is the last of the evolution, because of the ability to be so ever present in the moment. Because like the Zen monks teach in the East, is that there is nowhere and no time other than right now. And so you kind of betray right now, you kind of throw it away by maybe being in your head, as people say, too much, being in your head too much, and not living in the moment, not enjoying, not standing there breathing the air and just being, no overthinking, no rationalizing, no this or that. You just look wherever you are. You're on the beach and you're watching a beautiful sunset. Just be there. And with being a child, you have this pure. You don't have what you want is not to be the innocent child. You want to evolve through the camel, the burden bearer, the lion, the one who asserts "I will," and then the child. You want to retain the pure qualities of the child without the naiveness, because you understand the world. You understand that there are people who are backstabbers, and they're just evil, and they're bad company, and they're distasteful, and they're poisonous flies or tarantulas, as he talks about later, which I can go into in the next podcast. But yeah, one does not kill by anger, but by laughter. Let's close off with that. Let's kill the spirit of gravity. Let's live light. Like every depiction of angels in whatever form of religious text, what are they always doing? They're always floating, and they always have wings. Because of how light they are. It's a symbolic of them not taking life, too seriously. They understand. They're in tune with the cosmic energy of the universe, and they are not, they're not weighed down by it. And you can think of the opposite of that as in, so God and the angels are above, and you could say, well, that's where, I don't want to, don't take it too literally, but that's where they are the lightest. That's where they are, not carefree, but they're just, that's the lightest. They're floating, just like as if they don't have any weight to them. And then who's below, who's deep in the core of the earth, where the gravity is the strongest and the weight is the strongest, is the devil. And that's how I kind of analyze it, or at least that's what I think about it, is that there are those people, who I spoke briefly on before, who just take life too seriously, and it becomes less about enjoying life and finding joy in life, and more about almost more about bringing everyone else down too. Because if life sucks for them, why should anyone else have fun? They look at people who are actually enjoying life with distaste, and that's a true malevolence and malice that's so distasteful. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was another section of Thus Spoke Zarathustra, a powerful book. If you have not picked it up already, my God, what are you doing? Go order it. It's like $10 or whatever, and it is one of the best literary works that I have ever read, and that a lot of people would agree that have also read it. Up there with some of the, you have this Russian literature. You have Goethe as well. It's German. My God, German. You have Goethe as well with Faust, that play, part 1 and part 2. That's also German. Great work that I will be starting soon. You have Russian literature, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, and then Alexander Solzhenitsyn, blah, blah. I can't pronounce that right. Anyways, let's leave on a positive note, fellow spiritual beings of light, you powerful and much loved by the universe. Wake up and do your ritual, your cleansing ritual, whether that be a cold shower, whether that be a form of breathing meditation, or just a light stretching of yoga 10 minutes a day, whatever it is. Show yourself love and show yourself compassion and respect for yourself in your time here. We don't have a lot of time, we really don't, and we should use it the best way possible for the betterment of ourselves and the betterment of mankind around us. So let's keep the positivity going, guys. See you next time, fuckers.